All right, so the topic that I will be working with today is how to manage Atomy business. And as you can see, the slides were actually from Crown Master Lee Seung-hee, so that's why her name is on there as well. All right, so when it comes to Atomy business, these two things are the most important things. So these two things are the most important questions that you must ask in Atomy business. The first is why, and the second is how. So when it comes to why, the why questions that we are asking here is why should anyone do Atomy business? Why do we all need to do Atomy business? Right? We can find the answer in the economic trends, in all the economic failures and struggles, uncertainty in our future, right? There are so many reasons that we can find for why people need Atomy business, right? So after we realize why we need this business and we're trying to start, we also need to know the answer to this question. Why can anyone succeed in Atomy? They say that there's a lot of different MLM businesses out there, right? The most famous ones being Amway and New Skin and so on, right? But why Atomy, right? Among the MLM businesses, why are we choosing Atomy? The reason is because in Atomy, anyone can succeed in here. Not the best speakers, not the people who have a lot of resources, not the people who have a huge network of people. No, we say that in Atomy, anyone, no matter how little you have, no matter how little abilities you have, you can succeed in Atomy business. So we need to know the answer to why that is the case. And then lastly, and this I would say is the most important question in Atomy business, which is why are you doing Atomy business right now? Why did you personally choose Atomy business? Right? So we all know why anyone should do Atomy business. And we know that, okay, so even for normal individuals, ordinary people, they can still succeed in Atomy business because of the unlimited downline, because there's no condition for joining, right? Because the products are really good and they're really cheap, right? But even after answering all of those questions, you need to know why are you doing this business, right? What are you doing this business for? What are you trying to get out of this? So when it comes to why are we doing this business, that is really related to our dream and goals, right? So it's also the first step to 8 steps of success, right? So we have to be very clear about why we are doing this. If we're doing this just to earn $2,000 every month, right? Which is also the minimum salary in Korea. So actually in Korea, if you are working as a store clerk in convenience stores, or you're working as a server in restaurants, yeah, you can also earn around $2,000 per month. But and of course, working as a server and working in convenience stores is a lot easier than Atomy business, right? So if your goal is to just earn $2,000 per month, and then that's why you start Atomy business, then along the way, you might think, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this difficult business just to earn $2,000? And then people will easily give up, right? So you have to make sure that you're very clear on why you are doing this, whether it is for your parents, for your children, for the family that you love, right? For the future that you truly dream of. That has to be the reason why you are doing Atomy business. So let's say that you are very clear on why you're doing this business. You understand everything and you have a very big dream and you have a very big goal now. So now you're really set on Atomy business and you decide that I'm not gonna give up no matter what. So what do I need to do? Right? Then the next question is how? How can we actually do this business? And when we are asked about how to do Atomy business, the answer is the same no matter who you ask in Atomy, whether it is Crown Master Lee Seung-hee who made this PowerPoint slides, or the new Imperial Master Park Mi-young, or any other sponsor that you will find, also all the leaders that are in this Zoom meeting. If you ask them the question, how do you do Atomy business? They're going to tell you the same answer, which is you have to follow the 8 stages of success in the correct order. So you don't just do step number one and then step number four, then step five, then step two, right? You have to follow it in the correct order. And then what you need to do is practice the 8 core daily habits. So when you are able to do these two things, then before you even know it, you will be in a position of success. So here are the 8 stages of success. We all know this, right? So let's all read it together. Step number 1, you set goals. Then you make commitment. And then you make name list. Then you make invitation. So you invite people. And then we show the plan. And what do we mean by the plan is showing the business plan, right? How does the money work in this business? And then we follow up with all the people. And then we also receive and provide counseling. And after we follow everything from step number 1 to step number 7, then we also duplicate. We duplicate or we disciple other people into becoming just like us so that they will also follow the step number 1 all the way to step number 7. So that is what we call duplication in this business. So let's go into each of them in detail. So, dream and setting goals, right? So, this is also the why questions in Atomy business, right? So, when we are finding dream and setting goals, this is something that we say is the most important part of this business. A lot of leaders really emphasize this. And of course, in the end, our ultimate life goal is to live a balanced life, right? So, to live well, right? They have 4 different aspects, right? According to Chairman Park Han-gil. We want to, in order to live a completely successful life, then we need to live well materially. So we do need some level of material wealth. And we also want to love, right? Share our love with the family and friends that we love so much. We also want to have a life of learning, right? Without learning, our life can become meaningless, right? And then we also want to contribute to society, right? We want to make donations. We want to do volunteer service. And the reason is not only to help other people, but also makes us it also makes our life rich as well, right? And full of meaning. So that is why we need to live this balanced life, right? And then how you can find this dream and set goals, everything you can find in your life scenario, right? When you write your life scenario, in the note workbook that is provided by the company, then you will be able to find your dream and also set goals and really have a deep thinking about how to live well and to love and learn and contribute. Now, when it comes to setting target or setting our goals, then here are the tips. So you have to be clear about the reason why you should do this, right? You have to think about why you should do Atomy business, right? And the reason why you should do it is because you want to keep your thoughts from going back to the past, right? And for a sense of accomplishment and bigger goals, right? Why you need to set goals is to have a sense of accomplishment and have bigger goals, right? When you have smaller goals and then you keep meeting your goals, then you will also build your confidence, right? Every time that you meet your goal, then you're going to have that sense of accomplishment and you're also going to be confident about it, right? You're going to be confident about yourself because you have just experienced a small success. And then after that, you can go for a bigger goal and a bigger goal again. And then that's how you can actually keep growing. Now, the reason why people struggle with setting goals, that is because they are afraid that they won't make it and they will be disappointed, right? They're also scared of disappointing their sponsors, maybe, or their partners, or they're scared of the shame of failure, right? So I can also tell you from my experience that for a long time, I also didn't set goals, right? Or when it comes to going for mastership, I postponed for a long time. And the reason is because I always felt like I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet, right? And the thing is, it's not about going for it when you're ready, but when you really set that goal and you go for it, then things will also come into place. And then you also make things happen. So, and then I realized that it's not about having the ability to do things. It's more about having the will to make things happen, right? Where there is will, there is a way, they say, right? So you really need to believe that. And then unless you experience it yourself, it's also not easy to see it. So, how do we do it? How do we set our goals? then we have to make sure our goals are concrete and quantifiable, right? So you have to be able to know whether or not you met your goal. If you say that your goal is, I want to be beautiful, then how will you know, right? How will you know that you succeeded your goal or you didn't, right? If you say my goal is to be healthy, then how healthy do you mean, right? Like how do we know you are healthy? Or if you want to say my goal is to be rich, how much money do you need to have to for us to say that you met your goal, right? So you need to set a specific target that is concrete. So if it's about being rich, then you have to say, I want to be able to earn $10,000 per month or $100,000 per month. Then you will know whether you met your goal or not, right? You also have to be able to record your goal so that you can actually keep record and also make sure that your goals are visualizable, right? You have to be able to visualize where you want to be in the future, what kind of goal that you want to make. If you don't see it, then it's really hard to make it. And so when we set our goals, then we need to set our short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. Because of course, in Atomy, we say that our end goal is to become Imperial Master, right? Or Auto Imperial Master. But how long is that gonna take? Maybe 10 years, 15 years, right? And then if we say that that's the only goal that we have, and then we don't have smaller goals, then it's really hard for us to see also whether we or not we are on the right track, which is why we have to break that goal down into smaller goals, right? So let's say I want to be Imperial Master in 10 years. Then maybe in 5 years, you should be at least Royal Master, right? And then in 3 years, you should be Diamond Master or Sharon Rose Master, right? And then in 1 year, you should be this. And then every week, then you should be doing this. And then every day, you also need your daily goals. And then so when you're able to break down your goals, then you will be able to know whether or not you are on the right track to go into the direction that you actually desire. Now, after you have found your dream and set your target, then the second step is to make commitment. Because they actually say that the people without dreams are sad people, right? We feel bad for them. If you don't have a dream, that's a sad life. But you know what's even more sad is people who have dreams but no goals, right? People who have goals but who don't work for it, right? They just have this wish, right? It's like, oh, I wish I will be rich, but you know that it will never happen. That is actually more sad than not having a dream at all. So when we have a dream and we have a goal, then we have to really commit that we're gonna work for it, right? Without working for it, then we're not gonna make anything happen. So that is what we mean by making commitment. We have to keep doing what we need to do in order for us to succeed, but we also need to stop what we shouldn't do. So in Atomy, we're talking about this. The most important resource that we have and that we invest into Atomy business is time, right? So we are not investing our money, we're not investing resources, but the only thing that we do invest is time. So we have to be very wise with where we are actually spending our time. Are we actually, so if you are, spending every day, maybe let's say watching Netflix, right? Watching YouTube for maybe 2 or 3 hours. You're scrolling on Instagram for 2 or 3 hours, playing video games, and doing the things that are rather considered unproductive and have nothing to do with your goals. Then maybe you need to rethink where you are actually spending your time, right? So that is what we mean by stopping what we shouldn't do. So here are the three parts. When we make a commitment, we commit to leading our own life, right? We take ownership of our own life and our own mindset. So we have to make a choice. So everything is your choice and everything is your decision. So when it comes to Atomy, it's the same, right? When you first decide that you want to do Atomy business, that is your decision. No one is forcing you to do this business. No one is telling you what to do, right? It's all your own decision to start this business. So when you are going around and then other people, maybe family or friends, when they tell you that, oh, isn't that MLM? Or, oh, isn't that gonna take a really long time for you to succeed? Or, oh, isn't that gonna take a lot of your money and you're gonna fail? And how do you know that you're gonna succeed? So they say all of these different negative things, maybe that cloud your judgment and maybe also start to affect you. You have to take control of your own life right? You have to take control of your own decision and really decide to lead with that decision, right? And not be swayed by what other people tell you. Now, second part, we have to commit to living a positive life. So we have to be positive, not only about our own confidence and belief in Atomy business, but also with life in general, right? So it is actually in our normal human tendency to make complaints and be negative, right? Say negative things, complain all the time. It's very normal. That is how we are designed to be. But we have to consciously reject that out of our consciousness, right? Whenever we feel like making a complaint, we have to rewire that consciously so that we turn it into positive thinking, right? Instead of saying, oh, I didn't meet anyone today, right? Oh, I feel like I didn't do anything productive today. You can say, this just means that I'm going to be more productive tomorrow. It just means that I am going to meet double the amount of people I met today, right? We always have to rewire our thinking to be positive because negativity is the poison that kills you, right? So at the beginning of the business, then you're alone, right? And then of course the negativity will keep affecting you until it maybe leads you to give up in this business, right? It will hinder your own growth. But when you also go up the rank and maybe you have a lot of partners and you're still being negative, then what do you think your partners are going to see? Right? They're going to see the sponsor that is being negative all the time. And you know how that's going to affect them? They're also going to be negative, right? Because this is a duplication business. That is why we have to always consciously rewire our brain to stay positive. And thirdly, we also have to pay the price, right? We have to pay the price for, there's a price that we have to pay for everything, including for success in Atomy business. So when we're paying the price, we pay the price to focus and stay concentrated in this business and give up on other things that take up the time that have nothing to do with our growth. So we really have to focus our time and energy into growing our business. And if there are things where we're spending a lot of our time into that are not helping our business grow, maybe we have to take a break from that in order for us to really grow our business. So after we find our dream, we set our goal, and then we decide to really commit to it. And then you decide that I'm not gonna give up on this business no matter what. I'm gonna succeed no matter what. Then after you really train your mindset, then the next step for us to do is to really take action. So when we take action, that the first action that we have to take is making a name list. So we have to make a name list, of course, right? It's pretty obvious. We make a name list so that we can share this Atomy to other people, right? We share the products. We also share about the marketing plan, and we try to look for consumers and business members, right? And so when we are trying to make a name list, the first question is, who do we put in the name list, right? Do we put people that we think will be good at this business or the people who we think that will be interested in this business? The answer is no. What all of our leaders say when it comes to who to put in our name list, the who we put is all living people. Or we also say anyone who is able to use toothpaste and toothbrush, which basically means all living people, right? The reason is because we never know. We never know who's going to be interested in using the products or joining the business, right? And anyone who can use the products, they should use the products, right? Because our products are good quality, they have good prices, and it's also free to join an Atomy, right? So they should all it doesn't make sense for them not to join an Atomy and try the products, right? Maybe they won't be interested in business, and that's fine. But when it comes to using products, literally everyone can use products, which is why we must share to everyone that we know. So we include everyone in our name list, right? And the second rule here says don't prejudge. Yeah, so the reason is because we never know, right, who will be interested in business or not. From my own experience as well, the people who I thought will be never interested in this business are now my business partners. And the people who I was so confident that will join with me right away, they are barely consumers right now. So that's why you really never know and you can never predict the future. So you have to lead it up to them. We also have this thing called the law of their own mind, right? Everyone makes their own decision. So we just poke everywhere and we knock on every door and then because we don't know which door will open, right? So in order for us to know which door is open, we have to knock. Now, Now, in our name list, then we have to also make sure that this is a two-line binary system, right? We have to decide who's going to be in your left group and who's going to be in your right group. So when it comes to people who are from the same circle, whether they are from your high school or your church or your workplace, make sure that if they're from the same group, then they are in the same line. Because the moment that you put, let's say, your brother on your left and then your sister on your right, that means that you are connected to them, right? Because they're both in your downline. But for your brother and sister, they're not connected to each other. So from that moment, they are now being competitors, right? So that is why we have to, for the people from the same group, we have to keep them in the same line. And when we write the name list, we also write it in the order of priority. And the order of priority is the writing down your close, someone who is close to you, whether in your heart, right? People who you are really close to in heart, or in terms of distance, right? There's also a saying that a close neighbor is better than a far relative, right? So when you can meet them as often as you can, there is a higher success rate. So that is why we also prioritize them in order of closeness. Right. And the next key to this making name list is to have continuous addition, right? After we write the name list of we should aim to write at least 200 names, right? But after that, if you think that you're done, you're not because every time over time we have to keep adding new people to the name list. We're always meeting new people, right? So when we do, we add them to the name list as well. Now, after we make a name list, then of course we have to really start taking action, right? Which is to invite people. So where do we, so the first thing that we need to know when it comes to making invitation, we make invite invitation for when we call people, right? We make an appointment with them only, right? Because when you call them and what they mean is don't try to explain everything on the phone, right? You call your friend and you say, "Hey, have you heard about Atomy? Okay, now let me explain the marketing plan to you." No, if you do that, then if they are nice, they might listen until you are done, but maybe they will never see you again, right? I've heard from many leaders that that has happened to them. So what we actually need to do is we have to make an appointment with them over phone call, right? Just tell them, "Hey, I have a really good information that I want to share with you. I also want to catch up with you, or maybe I have something good to give you. And so let's meet up." And then when you do meet up, that is where you actually share, right? And also, the reason why we say make appointment only over phone call is because Atomy is MLM business, right? And I also know for a fact that MLM businesses do not have a positive reputation or perception all around the world. So, a lot of the times when they don't know about Atomy, but they know that Atomy is MLM, then they're going to get scared or they might just make assumptions, which might turn them into not being willing to meet up with you to learn properly about what Atomy is about, right? So from the beginning, they might not want to listen to you anymore. And so that is why we make appointment only. And then when you meet up with them in person, then you can also watch for their reaction, right? And how they respond. And then you will also know what to tell them so that they were so that you can actually make help them understand, right? So when it comes to Atomy business, yes, it is MLM, but it's free to join. It's free to join, right? And you don't have to make any subscription fee or you don't, there's no package buy. So that is why, a lot of the people that have this um, prejudgment about prejudice about MLMs, those are the reasons why they feel negatively about MLM. So if you're able to explain to them on the spot that, okay, Atomy is not like that, they will be much more willing to listen to you. And also, that doesn't mean that no one will reject you, right? Of course, we are still going to receive rejections. So when we do receive rejection, the one thing that we should remember is that rejection is vision. So what we mean by this is the reason why they reject you is because they don't know about Atomy, right? If you really know what Atomy is all about, then it's really not logical for anyone to say no to that, right? You know that Atomy, there's only benefits with an Atomy, right? So then who would say no? So the reason why they say no is because they don't know. So that just means that you are quick with information. You know things that other people don't know. You know, Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, he said that if you are pitching business ideas and then all the other people around you tell you that that's a good idea, that means that's a really bad idea and you need to throw that in the trash, right? But if you have a business idea that you're very confident about and you tell other people and they all say that's a bad idea, that means that you should go ahead with that business idea. Because if other people are already thinking that is good, that means it's too late for you to start that business, right? So the fact that people are still negative about Atomy business or people will still reject you just means that you are on the right path and you did make a good decision. So that is what we mean by rejection being vision. Now, so when we are actually inviting people, what do we invite them to, right? So when we invite them to, first thing that we invite them to is the Atomy products, right? And this is the easiest invitation that we can make, right? Because if we tell them that, oh, I want to invite you to this seminar and you're going to sit for hours and I want you to listen, maybe not many people will want to do that. But if you just say, hey, after I changed my skincare brand, it really changed my skin, right? After I started taking Hemohim, now I am so full of energy. So if you tell them that, then they're gonna want to try it too, right? So you invite people to try Atomy products. And of course, it's also said that 90% of successful people, in Atomy, they all started with trying the products and falling in love with the products. And our chairman Park Han-gil also says that there's no condition whatsoever, there's no requirement for starting Atomy business except one. And the only requirement is if you use the products from Atomy and you think I will use these products for the rest of my life, whether or not I do this business. If you're confident about your answer to that question, then you can do this business. That is the only requirement for success in this business, right? So that is why we have to invite people to products, right? It's always the people who fall in love with the products and who really experience really good results from the products. They are the ones that will also start business. That is why we invite them first to Atomy products. Now, after they try the products and they also open their heart, right? They become more positive about what Atomy is. Then what we can also do is we invite them to sponsors. So the reason why I invite them to listen to our sponsors and not do the talking ourselves is because of this thing called Hoyler's Law. They say that the people who are close to us, they tend to not listen to the people who are close to them, right? Because there's already bias, right? Maybe if I try to share this business idea to my college friend, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we used to party together all the time, and now you're trying to do this business. Maybe what do you know about making money? What do you know about success? You're still young, right?" People might say that. So that is why people become biased and they don't accept information about Atomy as pure information. It's the way they accept it is already biased, right? Because of who you are, not what Atomy is. So that is why when we listen from a third person that you don't really know, then you don't have any judgment about that person, right? So that is why people tend to listen to the business presentation and then they will accept it actually more objectively as information. And so they will be able to make a more objective judgment about what kind of business Atomy is. So that is why we use this Hoyler's law or ABC law strategy. So the A is consultant or your sponsor. B is the bridge, the inviter, right? And then C is customer. So your friend is the customer and your sponsor is A, right? And then the bridge is you. So you will invite your friend to meet your sponsor, and then you will let the sponsor do the talking, and then your friend will be much more likely to listen to information about Atomy. Right. Now, of course, after we meet with our sponsor, the next invitation that we can make is to seminar, right? Seminars are the places where we really see everything for real, right? That's the where the proof is, right? When we go to Success Academy and we actually watch the mastership promotion, and we also see all the people who are already royal masters, crown masters, and imperial masters, that is much more effective than you trying to tell your friends that this business works, right? Right now, I'm Diamond Master. And so if I tell other people that, yes, you can become successful, I'm not there yet, right? I'm only on the second level. And then if I am talking about $100,000 per month, some people listen, but many people also don't. But if you bring them to watch the real imperial master who is actually earning $100,000 per month, then they have no choice but to believe it, right? So that is why we also invite them to seminar. Now, when it comes to inviting people, our attitude is also very important, right? Our appearance attitude or external attitude, that is the way we are clothed, right? Our outfit and the way of our way of speaking. And also we have our mind attitude, right? So that is confidence, right? And also, so the reason why these things matter is because of the law of Merabian, right? When it comes to our image, right? When we're communicating information, then the content itself, so the words that we share, like the marketing plan, that only accounts for 7% of the communication. And then the 38% is the voice, right? So the kind of energy that you have, the confidence that you have. And then the last part, visual image, accounts for 55% of what kind of impression that you make to the other person, right? So if you are dressed very poorly, you're wearing flip-flops and you're wearing just old ripped t-shirt, right? And you didn't shave, your hair is all messy. If that is the case, then many people are not going to listen, right? Even if your ideas are super bright, many people are not likely to actually have a good first impression of you. And also, the reason why voice accounts for 38% is because of your confidence. Our energy also communicates, right? Have you ever heard the saying, I can smell the fear, right? People can smell it, right? When you are nervous or when you are scared, yes, people can smell it. And when you are confident, people can also feel it. So even if you are saying the craziest thing, right? That I'm going to be the richest person who is earning $100,000 per month as passive income, right? I'm going to build schools all around the world. I'm going to spread the gospel through those schools all around the world. People are going to say that you're crazy, right? But when you are so confident about it, when you share, then people are going to be drawn into you. They're going to get attracted to you, and then they will have no choice but to listen, right? So if you have been not confident before and then now you're super confident after, growing in this business, you will know, right? The way people respond to you is very different. The reason is because of your confidence. So we always have to train ourselves to be confident as well. Now, when we actually meet people, right, then what we have to do is reveal our identity, right? Instead of just going for hours and hours just chatting and gossiping and just catching up with each other. No, from the beginning, you have to tell them, I met up with you because I started Atomy Business. This is my work now. This is what I do. And that is also why I asked to meet with you because I want to share the good news. Right? So you also have to be clear about your intention. If you keep dragging on, if you met up with someone to share about Atomy, but you keep dragging on and you are thinking about it in your head, but you don't say it, they can also sense that, right? Your energy. So they're gonna start becoming more and more suspicious and nervous. And then once you do share about Atomy, they're already gonna be not willing to listen anymore. So that is why it's better for you to just share from the beginning, share, reveal your identity, and also ask them questions, right? Everyone loves a good listener. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, and we don't have enough people in this world who actually like to listen, right? So everyone appreciates a good listener. So we ask them questions. So you ask them about family, occupation, recreation, money, right? Which is what we call form. And we always ask positively, saying, "Hey, how is your family? Your husband, is earning a lot of money, right? He just got promoted in the company. How's that going, right?" So you ask positively, but they might tell you, "You know what? My husband did get promoted, but he's a salaryman after all. We're still, struggling to pay for the tuition of our kids, where we cannot go traveling as much as we want." And they might tell you those things. Same with recreation, or money, right? Finance. So you ask positively because you don't want to just become like an interrogator, right? You ask positively, but a lot of the times, because our tendency is to complain, people will tell you negative responses. And then when they do, then you can take that to figure out what their needs are. And then the thing is, Atomy can be a solution to so many different types of needs. So that can be your opening for how you present, how Atomy can also present a solution for them. So that is why also it's not only to just make them appreciate you, but good listening is actually really useful for you to identify their needs so that you can actually cater to them, what they need, and how Atomy can actually present a solution for them. Now, step number five. So you met up with them, you invited them to try products and maybe seminars, and then you figured out the needs, then you show them the plan, right? So we have to show them the business plan, even if they are maybe consumers and they're not interested in business. The reason is for our business expansion, right? If you only share products to other people, then you'll have a lot of consumers, right? But if you want to find business partners, then you have to talk about the marketing plan, how we can actually make money, right? Only when we talk about the money, then other people will also get attracted to that, and you will find other people who want to become your business partner. So that is why we do this. So how we can show people the business plan is to invite them to business seminar, also get support of your sponsor, or you can do it yourself. You can also make use of business webinars, just like the one you're in right now, where I usually do the weekly webinar for the marketing plan, right? So that is where you can invite people to. And also, if you want to do it well, you just need to do it a lot. Yeah. So they also have a saying, practice makes perfect, right? So the more we actually do this, then the better we're gonna become. I also remember that the first time that I ever did this Zoom webinar and I did the business presentation, I also struggled a lot. But now I can, and then also I read it off the script, word by word. But now I also do it completely without script. And I also don't struggle as much, right? I don't get stressed about it or I don't get nervous about it, right? So more and more, the more you practice, the better you become. Right. So what we actually need to include in our STP, right? So we have different versions. We have 1 hour version, right? So which is the full business presentation that we can see in seminars or webinars, right? But we also need to be prepared to give a 30-minute version, 10-minute version, 5-minute version, or even 1-minute version, right? Maybe you meet up with a friend and you want to share about the business, but they say, "Hey, I have to go in 3 minutes." Right? But you know that you have to share to them right now, or else it's going to take a really long time. Then you have to be able to share to them in 3 minutes, right? So in every version, the thing is, the structure is the same, right? You include the same component, which is you introduce yourself, right? How you met Atomy Business, and also why you started Atomy Business. So usually what people say is the difficulties or challenges in their current or former occupation, right? For me, for example, I was working as a teacher. right? And because I didn't see any potential for growth in that industry, that was one of the factors that pushed me to consider starting another business, right? And that's how I met Atomy, right? So that is why you actually talk about your job. And then you have to talk about the change of age, right? The AI, development of AI, technological advancement, all of that is replacing our jobs, making it hard for us to actually accumulate wealth, right? The economies are becoming very unpredictable, right? Especially after COVID-19 pandemic, right? So that is what we talk about in order to emphasize why we need a solution like Atomy Business, right? And then we introduced about Atomy Company. What kind of company is Atomy, right? Atomy is a top global top ranking 10th ranking company, right? With a culture of sharing that donates so much to charity, right? It has many different technological patents all around the world. And so you can talk about all of those things. And then you also share the products, especially the products that you experienced really good results with. And then you will share the marketing plan, right? How the money works. It's free to register because of unlimited downline, because of unlimited accumulation. That is why we can find golden members, right, in our downline, and that's how we can succeed regardless of our abilities, right? And because there is compensation plan, there's a fair redistribution of income, and then because it can be passed down for 3 generations, I know that this will not only make myself abundant, but it will take care of my family's financial needs for 3 generations, right? And then you share your dream or vision, why you are really doing this business. And when you are Imperial Master, what you're going to do, right? What you're going to accomplish through Atomy Business. And the thing is, a lot of the things that we share in our STP, many people will listen, but from my own experience, I also know that, I have seen that the marketing plan, yes, it is important information and people do need to hear it. But what really makes that push, the final push that really changes their mind is not the marketing plan. It is your dream and vision. The people around you, when they hear that you're doing this business, not just to be rich yourself, but you're doing this business because you want to help other people, right? Because you want to spread the gospel, because you want to help your family, right? Because you're doing this for love, right? The love that you have for your friends and family and for the world. When they hear that kind of $1 million dream, right? That kind of huge, huge super dream, then who's gonna say no, right? They usually a lot of people become touched by that and then they want to support you if it's not for themselves. So that is also a really big reason why we need to share our dream and vision. Also, when we do share our vision, people also become very impressed. Some people become curious because they think, what is it about Atomy Business that is making Manchoo say this? Right? Like, how can he believe that he can do all those things just from Atomy Business, right? Then they're gonna start to rethink. Maybe they had a wrong assumption about Atomy Business, right? So there's that too. So I think I already talked about the features of the marketing plan, right? Of course, we have to become an expert of the marketing plan in order for us to find business partners, right? And after we have shared the products and the marketing plan and the STP, then we have to follow up with them, right? We have to know what they actually think, right? The reaction that they have right after listening to your speech, that is also valid, but what is more valid is what they think after they left the meeting, right? And we also have this thing called the law of 48 hours, which is the expiration time of emotion and memory. Memory and emotions, they usually last up to 48 hours. After that, people start to forget, right? Which is why we have to ask them within 48 hours. So, if you have shared the product with them, then first you have to follow up with them to check whether or not they actually tried it already. Have they used it after they bought it, right? And you ask them, is it good or not, right? And then if they say that it wasn't good, then you can ask why, and then maybe and then find out about what problems they experienced. And then maybe also maybe they experienced some problem because they didn't know how to use it properly, right? So after only when you check with them, then you can actually tell them, right? A lot of the people, because they when they use deep cleanser, the thing is you have to wait first, right, for it to turn oily and to turn transparent, and then you have to massage for the blackheads to come out. But then if they just start massaging right away, then they're not going to experience as good of a result, right? So if you don't know what they did wrong, then they're just going to think that, oh, Atomy product is just bad, right? So that is why we have to follow up with them to make sure that they're really using the products in the correct way and that they actually experience the intended effects, right? And as we keep following up with consumers, then that is how we lead them to become consumers, right? Auto consumers, right? So they will keep repurchasing the products that they like. And then we can also recommend them other products that maybe they haven't tried yet. And then after that, when they become really good fans of Atomy products, then they will also introduce people to you. And after that, they will also receive commission, right? And then after that, you can also invite them to STP or seminars so that uh, we can also get them to be interested in really starting the business, right? And then, so after follow up, then the what we need to do is consultation, right? The purpose is consultation serves as a GPS, right? So whenever we're trying to get to a destination, we use the GPS, right? We use Google Maps. So consulting with your sponsor is just like that. You have to check with your sponsor, am I doing this right? You know, and also if you have received a rejection or your a consumer told you that they had this kind of problem and you don't know the answer or solution to that, then you have to ask your sponsor, and then your sponsor can help you, right? Actually find a solution. And then who do we need to actually consult with? The sponsor, not just any sponsor, right? Maybe the person who brought you into Atomy, your direct sponsor, who's registered right above you, maybe they introduced you to Atomy, but then they're not doing anything and they're not growing as well, right? That is not who you ask whenever you come across a an issue, right? You have to consult with a sponsor who is actually experienced and who actually knows what they're doing. And how you can find that kind of sponsor is to see if the sponsor is perfectly plugged into the system, someone who is in your upline, not someone else's, right? You should never consult with a brother line or your partner because that is really counterproductive, right? And then so what you have to consult them about is not life counseling, right? So if you have a problem with your husband or wife or a life partner, or your something happened with your parents, that is not what you consult with your sponsor, right? You have to consult them about business, right? I tried to share Atomy to my friend, and then this is the response I got. I'm not sure what to say back to them. What can I say? What should I do next? Right? Then your sponsor will know exactly what you need to do. So that is why we consult with them. Now, as a partner who is consulting with their sponsor, then we also have to make sure that we are really keep maintaining a good attitude, right? So, first, we should never do pre-consultation post-report, as in. And then also, when we consult with our sponsor, then we have to make sure we have our lineage map, 8 core checklist, and life scenario, and our group sales, right? We have to be able to present to our sponsor what our situation is in order for them to actually give you good advice, right? And yeah, we should always consult about our business, not our life. And when we consult with our sponsor, then we have to listen carefully, right? As the more you open your heart to them and the more willing you are to listen to them, the more they will be able to help you, right? If you ask them for a consultation, but in your head you're thinking, hey, what do you know? Right? Or you're thinking, oh, or like, so if you have that kind of attitude, then of course, how can they help you, right? So when we're asking for advice, we also have to really make sure we are ready to listen. Now, so when it comes to commonly consulted situations, right? So it's when you are having difficulty registering members. The answer to that is the size of your vision, right? If your vision is not big, right, then you are the information that you share to other people are also going to be small, right? So when your own scale is small, then other people are not going to see that vision. They're not going to want to join business. That is why it's hard to register members, right? If you're having no sales, that is the reason is because you're not using enough products, right? If you really love the products, if you're crazy about the products, then without even trying, you can't help it but to just keep talking about the products you're using. Then, of course, people are going to want to use them, right? So if you're not having any sales, that is because you're not using enough products, right? And if you're not able to find business partners who are interested to join business, that is the reason is because either you're not inviting enough people or you're not following up properly, right? When you follow up properly, and if you're good at following up, then you can turn even the consumers into business members, right? But even the people who have potential to become business members, if you keep forgetting to follow up with them, then that's not going to lead to anywhere. That is why that is why we don't get partners, right? And people who are struggling with growing their own group, the reason is because you're not plugged into the system. The only way to grow your group is to have regular meetings and to be plugged into the system. So that is why actually we need to be in the system in order for us to duplicate the system and also to grow our group. So if you're not plugged into the system, then of course your group is not going to grow. So I just touched upon the concept of duplication, right? So when we follow the steps from number one to number seven, then the next step is to duplicate ourselves. First, we have to be the good tree, right? In order to bear good fruits, you need to become a good tree first. So you have to make sure that you're following number one to seven properly. And then when you do, then you will be able to guide your partners as well to do the same and then to be like you. So you have to be a good role model. That is why it is said in the slide here, I am the masterpiece. I am the good tree with full of gratitude, positivity, passion, and I have to be the one to lead by example. And this is the key essence of network marketing business, to duplicate, right? In churches, they also talk about discipleship, right? It's the same here in network marketing business. We have to duplicate ourselves so that they can also be good leaders and so that we can keep duplicating the system and our group grows. That is how we can actually grow our business, right? So you duplicate successful people who have wonderful dream and take proper action. So find people to duplicate and succeed with people who duplicate themselves. So that is what this business is all about. So that is all for my presentation today. So that was actually my first time presenting about 8 steps of success. I hope that everyone enjoyed it, and I hope that it was helpful for everybody. And so now it is, of course, time for us to have a very maybe short Q&A session. If you have any questions or you want to share a short story about how your business is doing, then this would be the best time to do so. So the floor is open to anybody who would like to speak.
Thank you so much, Manchoo Kim. You best presentation about Atomy business network marketing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bunsri.
Yes. Thank you, and
Yeah, we'll see you
especially
soon.
congratulate sponsor Johnny. Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Yeah. You just get General of Master when you come Cambodia sponsor. I mean you so much.
Yeah,
And
we will visit next month. See you. See you next month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Bunsuri.
Yes, thank you. And especially all of Atomy member on the world, wish you good luck and healthy forever. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bunsri. We miss you too.
Hi, Mr. Manchoo Kim. This is Kyungmi Kim from Alabama. Um, this must be new PPT. Can you please email to me this PPT? Because I think this is really good PPT, much easier than what being studying these days from the Korea. Because I don't speak Korean at all. Every single I speak English, so I don't speak it good like American, but looks like and it sounds like it's a perfect PPT for my my partner and also my consumer and myself. So I like to copy your PPT and the I regretted what I've been studying the opposite. I started this compensation plan and marketing plan, all these eight core at the beginning of last year. I would do it opposite. I started with duplicate first, which is a duplicate of the sending the product to the consumer first. And I studied this one yesterday too, but I realized I did wrong, opposite side. So I'm starting all over again to my goal first and decide what I want to invite it and presentation of the marketing and take care of my partner and the like I said, duplicated all these kind of things, the long term things, but this does help me a lot to step by step with these eight chord. Yeah, I think this last long, and also it's hard, but I did exactly like what I studied. I think that's the only way, the faster way. And one by one, and you just show me these PPT, that you show me the new one. The old one's good too, but this one much easier. I thank you very much. And I miss a lot of my partner. I don't know what to do, but I guess I have to change in what do you call I couldn't remember right away. And I have to change myself first and then do it and be patient to take care of myself. So please don't give up, everyone. Let's stick together. We're all going to be there. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for sharing, Miss Kyung. Yeah, just like you said, yeah, our leaders always say that for 8 steps of success, if you don't follow it in the correct order, then you have to go back to step number one and then start again, right? So I think yeah, you're doing great and you already found that answer, right? And so I'm gonna just translate this real quick to Korean. Maybe World Master Park Eun-ha has something to say. Um, 그래서 김경미 팀장님께서 말씀하시길 지금까지 그 복제를 먼저 시작을 하셔서 그래서 또 이제 성장하는데도 좀 그 시간이 걸린 것 같다고 하십니다. 처음에 이렇게 그 제품을 쓰고 전달하는 거에 그 전달하고 그다음에 그거를 복제하는 거에 너무 집중하셔서 그래서 성공의 8단계를 이번에 다시 처음부터 돌아가는 걸로 하는 걸로 이렇게 하셔서 그렇게 되는 계기가 되셨다고 합니다. 네.
네, 아주 훌륭하시게 지금 잘하고 계시고 지금 꾸준하게 시스템 안에서 하고 있는 거는 매우 잘하는 거예요. 그래서 성공의 8단계를 따라하고 성공할 수 있도록 파트너에게 결국 우리가 복제 사업이라는 것은 결국 내가 먼저 좋은 나무가 되면 좋은 열매는 맺는다. 자세가 전부다는 거죠. 미치고 싶다면 처음으로 돌아가라. 우리 김경미 팀장님 말씀이 맞아요. 내가 이 일이 힘들고 어렵다고 생각하는 것은 아직 안 미쳤다는 거죠. 미친 사람은 힘들다 어렵다는 생각을 전혀 안 합니다. 네. 그러니까 왜 하는지, 왜 해야만 되는지, 어떻게 해야 되는지 시스템대로 하십시오. 성공의 8단계 순서대로 하십시오. 사업이 안 될 때는 다시 1번으로 돌아가십시오. 꿈과 목표 설정 다시 하십시오. 내가 지금 이거 왜 시작했지? 왜 하려고 했지? 내 꿈이 뭐지? 내가 상속인가? 내 사랑하는 가족인가? 내 자식인가? 내 부모한테 효도하기 위해서 하는 건가? 다시 꿈과 목표를 설정하십시오. 꿈이 작으면 중도에 포기합니다. 애터미는 포기하지 않으면 누구나 성공합니다. 성공자가 걸어간 길이 바로 시스템입니다. 성공자들은 모두 시스템대로 했습니다. 눈 덮인 길을 함부로 걷지 마라. 왜? 파트너가 따라하니까요. 내가 성공의 8단계를 제대로 하지 않으면 파트너가 절대로 따라하지 않아요. 음. 여러분들이 더 빠르게 성장할 수 있는 기회는 결국 여러분이 내가 먼저 주도적으로 목표를 세우고 일을 할 때 나와 파트너가 빠른 성장이 가능하고 모두가 잘 됩니다. 그러니까 내가 안 되면 파트너가 안 되는 거죠. 그래서 긍정적인가, 내가 생각이 긍정적인 사고를 하고 있는지, 예. 문제가 발생했을 때 딱 두 가지죠. 내가 이 문제를 긍정적으로 생각하는 사람인가, 부정의 시작인가. 부정적으로 가면 결국은 그 부정이 나를 지배하게 되고 내 행동을 지배해서 결국 실패의 길로 가는 거죠. 하지만 내가 어떤 문제가 닥쳤을 때 힘들고 파트너가 따라오지 않고 복제가 안 되고 이더구 임페리얼은 항상 그 얘기를 합니다. 애터미 사업은 참고 기다리고 함께한다. 여러분 이게 100만 원, 200만 원 버는 사업이 아니에요. 여러분 인생을 바꾸는 거예요. 월 1억이 평생 나오고 3대까지 상속되는 이게 몇 천억짜리 사업이란 말이에요. 이런 어마어마한 사업을 하면서 이 정도도 내가 대가 지불을 안 하고 어떻게 만약에 내가 한 거 없이 성공한다면 정말 너무너무 미안할 거예요. 저는 2년 반이 됐을 때 월 1,000만 원이 넘어갔고 리더스 클럽에 3년 만에 들어갔는데 너무 미안하더라고. 너무 죄송하더라고. 누구한테? 박한길 회장님한테 너무 미안했어요. 내가 얼마나 한 것도 없는데 내가 뭘 했다고 나한테 이렇게 매달 1,000만 원씩을 그냥 연금처럼 주지? 너무너무 감사했고, 고마웠고, 한편으로는 한 것도 없는데, 내가 이 정도 대가 지불해가지고 넘치게, 받는 거에 대해서 너무 죄송했어요. 1만 시간의 법칙이라는 게 있어요, 여러분. 1만 시간의 법칙. 여러분들이 하루에 애터미를 10시간씩 투자를 하면 3년이면 여러분 성공해요. 그런데 여러분들이 하루에 5시간씩을 하면 6년 걸리겠죠. 근데 애터미를 하면서 진짜 하루에 한 명도 안 만나고 여러분 목표도 없고 그 시간만 가고 그럼 1만 시간의 법칙은 언제 채웁니까? 1만 시간의 법칙이 어떻게 보면 딱 맞는 것 같아요. 그래서 내가 먼저 좋은 나무가 되고 좋은 열매가 열린다는 것은 내가 먼저 솔선수범하는 그런 자세로 하면 시간이 복제가 되는 거예요. 애터미가 이 무한단계가 무서운 게 내가 10시간을 하면 10시간을 따라하는 파트너들이 생기거든요. 그래서 여러분이 항상 긍정적인 생각을 하고 나의 행동을 긍정적으로 지배해서 결국 성공으로 가는 거다. 나의 자세가 결국 많은 파트너를 살리는 거예요. 내 자세가 파트너를 살리는 거예요. 내 자세가 나쁘면 파트너를 죽이는 거죠. 나의 자세가 많은 파트너를 살리고 함께 성공할 수 있다는 거예요. 스폰서가 마음에 안 들면 내가 리더가 되면 돼요. 왜 우리 스폰서는 나를 돕지 않아? 왜 우리 스폰서는 나를 멀리해? 내가 리더가 되면 돼요. 내 사업이에요. 이건 철저하게 내 사업이에요. 나로부터 두 줄이에요. 내 사업이고 나로부터 두 줄이기 때문에 나의 강점으로 인해서 파트너들을 여러분들이 성공시킬 수가 있어요. 근데 여러분들이 이 감정 표현을 잘 못하면 응? 파트너를 삐지게 하고 스폰서한테 예, 좋은 자세를 보이지 않으면 결국 여러분들이 여러분들 때문에 또 여러분들 따라오는 파트너들에게 예, 실패로 가는 길을 알려줄 수가 있다는 거죠. 애터미는 모든 시스템을 운영하잖아요. 참고, 기다리고, 함께한다. 꿈이 작으면 모든 게 문제예요. 꿈이 작은 사람들은. 결국 나를 변화시켜야 돼. 변화시키고, 긍정적인 사고, 주도적인 생각, 대가집을 반드시 하겠다. 어떻게 대가집을 안 하고 성공합니까? 성공자들은 모두 다 대가집을 했습니다. 여러분들이 겪어야 될 과정입니다. 나 그 대가집을 하기 싫어. 그러면 여러분이 대가집을 해야만 성공하는데 결국 나의 사업을 위한다면 스폰서를 존중하고 파트너를 섬겨라. 그게 박한길 회장님의 말씀이잖아요. 그거 하기 싫어. 하기 싫어. 그럼 어떻게 해야 돼요? 척이라도 해라 그래. 척이라도. 예. 스폰서 존중한 척이라도 하고 파트너 섬기는 척이라도 해야죠. 포커페이스 해야죠. 여러분 슈퍼드림 노 프로블렘. 여러분이 꿈이 크면 문제가 되지 않아요. 예. 미쳐버리세요. 그냥 미쳐버리세요. 그냥. 예. 성공의 8단계에 미치고 에이코아를 매일매일 실천하는 멋진 성공자들, 멋진 사장님들. 반드시 꿈과 목표를 설정하시고 디터마인드, 결의결단, 긍정적인 생각, 주도적인 사고, 그리고 반드시 대가집을 하겠다는 그 성공의 8단계 1번, 2번으로 다시 돌아가십시오. 성공의 8단계를 따라하고 성공할 수 있도록 파트너에게 어떻게 우리가 교육을 하는가. 교육 사업이잖아요. 그럼 교육하려면 내가 먼저 좋은 나무가 돼야 됩니다. 여러분들이 모두 좋은 나무란 100% 시스템에 플러그인된 리더가 좋은 나무예요. 다시 말씀드릴게요. 좋은 나무란 내가 100% 시스템에 플러그인된 리더가 좋은 나무입니다. 모두 성공하시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다, 총장님. Thank you so much to Royal Master Park Eun-ha for his amazing response and advice as always. So here now I will translate quickly to English. So to Ms. Kyung, he said you're doing very well and you're following everything very well. And so when it comes to 8 steps of success, duplication is all about becoming the good tree, right? Attitude is everything. And if you want to be crazy, then go back to the beginning. If you feel like this is difficult and you're tired from this business, that just means that you're not crazy enough about Atomy. So if you feel stuck, go back to the beginning, ask yourself, why am I doing this business and what is my dream? Is it about inheritance, helping my family, or whatever? If your dream is not clear, then you will give up, right? So the path of success is the system. They say, don't make new paths that are covered in snow, right? Because your partners will copy you. Only when you follow the system and grow fast, then your partners can also grow. If you are not growing, that means that your partners are not growing. So reflect on yourself. Are you a positive person or are you negative? Negativity will lead to failure. Imperial Master Lee Dok-u said that it's all about being patient, waiting, and we're being together, right? This is not about earning $1,000 per month. This is $1 million business. But if you don't pay the price for this huge business, then what's gonna happen, right? Now, for Royal Master Paganha, after being in this business for 2.5 years, he started earning $10,000 per month. But he felt so bad and guilty towards CEO Park Han-gil because he didn't even do anything, right? He didn't even do that much. So how is he getting paid? He thought, how am I getting paid $10,000 passive income? I only paid this much price, but I am gaining so much. So there is this law of 10,000 hours. If you invest 10 hours in Atomy every day, you will succeed in 3 years. But if you invest 5 hours per day, that will be 6 years, right? But if you don't meet anyone at all in one day, if you don't even have a goal, how will you fill the 10,000 hours? So when you do 10 hours per day, then that time will be duplicated because you will find other partners who also put their 10 hours per day. So your attitude is the one that revives your partners. If your attitude is bad, that will kill your partners. If you're not happy with your sponsor, then you just need to become a leader yourself. The binary system starts from you. But if you're not good with expressing emotions and you make partners mad and you don't show good attitude to your sponsors, then you will lead your partners to failure. In Atomy, all system is operated by the company. So be patient, wait, and be together. We have to change ourselves first and think how can we succeed without even paying the price, right? So this is the journey and process that we all have to go through. We have to pay the price. And in the end, for our own business, we have to respect our sponsors and serve our partners. If you don't want to do that, at least pretend. So super dream, no problem. When your dream is big, nothing will be a problem. Follow 8 steps and practice 8 core. Find your dream, set goals, make commitment, and for paying the price, go back to step number 1 and 2. Follow 8 steps of success and think about how to teach that to your partners, which is to become a good tree yourself, right? And being a good tree means being a leader who is 100% plugged in the system. So on that note, Royal Master Pagana hopes that everyone will become successful all together. So thank you so much to Royal Master Pagana for his amazing advice. And so I think he told us everything that we need to know, right? All we need to do is just follow. So let's do it. Aja, aja, aja. All right. So, I think on that note, I think this is a really good time for us to finish today. I would also love to know if everyone enjoyed this content and if they prefer this or they want to go back to marketing plan, you can contact me and let me know. And let's finish tonight since it's already late with our company motto recital. Now, are we all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Company motto. Yep.
Yeah.
Cherish the
Cherish the
spirit,
spirit,
create the
create the
vision,
vision,
follow the
follow the
faith,
faith,
serve
Follow the
in
serve
faith,
in
humility.
serve in
humility.
Aja,
humility.
aja,
Aja, aja,
aja.
aja.
가자.
화이팅!
오!
Thank you so much, everyone, and see you next
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
수고하셨습니다.
감사합니다.
네, 김경미
팀장님.
팀장님, 네, 김만추 팀장님, 전신영 국장님, 김병준 총장님, thank you so much. 미니 마르고노,
수고하셨어요.
감사합니다,
김만추
총장님.
수고 많으셨습니다. 지급으로 진주센터, 김영희 팀장님, 박진희 팀장님, 변세영
네,
세일즈마스터님, 네,
감사합니다.
전신현 국장님, 홍성수 국장님, 제라디안 김 졸라딘, 파스, 네, thank you so much. 로즈 두바이 로즈, 명유정 국장님, 박은지 사장님 감사합니다. Thank you so much.
고맙습니다. Thank you very much. See you next.
감사합니다.